Discovering Asian dramas back in 2018 was an enlightening moment for me, and I've never looked back. I enjoy talking about them just as much as watching them, so much so that I decided to create a podcast with a heavier focus on Chinese dramas, but passing through Korean, Japanese, Thai, and Filipino dramas. Welcome to the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast, your corner for drama talking. For more tea and soju content, consider joining Patreon, where I release extra reviews and polls. Everything is linked in the episode description. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and in today's episode, I'm going back to the actress series that I started off, I think a couple of weeks ago, with the Bailu episode. But for this episode, I'm going to go into Tan Songyun. And the reason being is that she's been a favourite of mine for a while. She starred in a couple of favourites of mine, which I will come back to later on in the episode. But she's in the recently airing. Now, obviously, if you're listening to this like months and months after its release, it would have been completed. But right now, as I'm recording this, it's currently airing. And that's the Chinese drama Road Home. And she's the main actress in it. And it's watching her in this drama. I haven't watched her in a drama that I've really enjoyed in a while. So watching her in this drama is kind of like bringing back all the reasons that I really love seeing Tan Songyun on my screen. So I thought it'd be perfect to and that's kind of like inspired me to go and do this episode on her and actually learn a lot about her that I didn't really know. Like I said, I tend to watch actors and actresses on my screen and tend to enjoy them quite a bit, and I'll be like, I'll follow them about in terms of what they do drama-wise. But I don't really look into like their backstories and not their personal lives. I don't really like touching on that. But in terms of like how they got started in acting and things like that. So it's kind of fun doing these series for me because I get to go in and learn a bunch about these actors and actresses, and it kind of makes me appreciate their acting a lot more. So I think that's quite fun. And yeah, that is this week's episode. I hope you enjoy it. Just a little aside, right, I have to say, so it's been miserable in the UK in terms of weather. It's just been like rainy and grey and whatnot. But today it's actually like warm, and by warm I mean in British standards it's double figures. So it's like the sun's shining and it feels a little bit like spring, which it didn't this morning because it was like pitch grey outside and it looked like all the heavens were about to break loose and just drop a bunch of water on us. But it's actually like afternoon now and the sun has kind of come out a bit. So for the first time in ages, I got to sit down and make myself like an iced tea. And by iced tea, I mean I literally just brew some tea and then either add a little bit of honey to it or I add a syrup to it. And I don't tend to. If I'm drinking hot tea, then I don't add anything at all to it. I just drink it as is. But I got to make, and this is one of my all-time favourite like iced teas to make, and it's like hibiscus tea, and I soak that in hot water and boiling water, but by boiling like 80 degrees Celsius, not Fahrenheit, Celsius. So 80 degrees Celsius, and then like just let it soak for like a good 5 minutes so it becomes really concentrated. Add a bunch of ice to that and then add like some vanilla syrup to it, and it's so tasty. So just all of that to say that I'm in a really good mood because the sun is finally decided to grace us in the UK, and I get to drink, a nice chilled iced tea, which doesn't, it's been a while because I'm always cold. That's a rambling off topic bit, but I thought I would share because I haven't really done the what I'm drinking as I'm sitting down to record the podcast little thing in a while, but today I thought I would share because I'm quite happy that I get to drink a cold tea while I sit and record. But yeah, back to today's episode, we're doing a special on Tan Songyun, and basically how the episode is going to work. The first half, I'm just going to go into some general information about her, like her name. And you may say, well, you've already mentioned her name, but there is a couple of things to go along with her name. So, a bit about her background in the fact that, how she got into acting. I searched a good few websites, but I couldn't really find an in-depth description. I feel like this is where the barrier kind of is a little bit harder because I get, in Chinese wiki, I think there's an equivalent, because a friend of mine mentioned it. But in Chinese wiki, you can get a lot more information on the actors and actresses, their biographies and stuff are a lot more in depth. Obviously I don't speak, Mandarin or, read it or anything like that. So I don't really have access to that. So I used most of my information came from Drama Wiki, MDL and Wikipedia. And I kind of used those three interchangeably and gathered all the information for this episode. And then, so that will be basically the first, little bit of the episode. And then the second half, I'm literally just going to go through her dramas and which ones I've watched and which ones I've really enjoyed, which ones I've kind of dropped and things like that, because there is a few. I have this thing, right? Is this a thing for you guys? Because I know there's people that watchers that tend to, if they really like an actor or an actress, they will sit through any of their dramas, regardless if it's a bad or a good drama. For me personally, if it's an actress or actor that I like, I'll give it the drama a try, but I won't stick through the whole drama just because they're in it, if that makes sense. So I do wonder, is this a thing for you guys as well? Which camp do you land on? Do you stick to the drama because you really enjoy the actor or the actress, or do you kind of check out the drama because of that actor and actress, but if you don't like the drama, you kind of well, I've tried it and it isn't for me type of situation? I'm more, the second one. That's more me than the first one. So yeah, there is a few of hers that I've kind of tried, but I didn't really enjoy that much. So I dropped them because there's too many dramas and too little time to be watching anything that you're not fully enjoying. That's my motto whenever I'm watching dramas. If I'm not enjoying them, regardless of how popular they are or, whatever it may be, then I'm letting them go because I'd rather spend my time watching something I'm really, really enjoying. So yeah, that's everything for the intro. And without further ado, let's get right into this episode. So for some general info, let's start with her name. And there's actually 3 names for her, and it'll make sense in a little bit. So her birth name is Tan Jingjing, and her stage name is Tan Songyun, and her English name is Seven Tan. Now, a friend of mine explained this all to me. She's fluent in Mandarin. So Drama Win, thank you very much for forwarding me your explanation again, because I think the way she explains it is really, really nice. And I wanted to use her explanation. So I asked and she said that was fine. So thank you again. And basically what she said is, and this all came because a lot of people know her as Seven Tan, and I just can't wrap my head around, that. And I've always known her as Tan Songyun. So some people will use the English name, some people will use the Chinese name. I think it just depends which name you come across first, if that makes sense, because if you come across Seven Tan first, then that's the name that will stick to in your head, and then that's the name you associate with the actress. So I suppose that it just depends which name you come across first. But the way Drama Win explained it was, so Seven Tan's Chinese name doesn't mean seven in English. She has a really beautiful name in Chinese, in my opinion. Song equals pine, yun equals musical rhythm, but Song Songyun is actually part of a poem from a famous poet that lived in the 700s. Fun fact, I read in her Chinese wiki, her mum was really big when she was pregnant with her and thought she was having twins. She was going to call them Tan Jingjing and Tan Yingying, but there was only one baby, so she was registered as Song Jingjing and was later changed to Tan Songyun, which was her dad's choice. In the behind-the-scenes interactions and on social media for Under the Power, Seven and Alan Wren often interact by calling each other Jing Jing and Gu Chil, Alan Wren's real name. And their couple name in the fandom comes from their real names too. So apparently, from what Drama Win was saying, her name comes from a really, famous poet. And I think the poet is called Bai Ju Yi. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. And basically, that's where her name comes from. And that's why she's kind of like got, a couple of different names in a sense. So, yeah, I always know her as Tan Songyun. But again, I don't know why this fascinates me, right? Because with the Bai Lu episode, I just assumed that, Bai Lu was her name, and it wasn't. That's not her birth name. And the same thing with Tan Songyun. And I kind of feel like I'm always a little bit blindsided in the sense that I just assume that their stage names tend to be their, actual real names. And obviously, a lot of actors and actresses will just choose a stage name and kind of like stick to that for their acting work. But because I haven't really digged into any of, the actors or actresses that I follow, I tend to just assume, which is silly of me, but I tend to assume that that's their, real name and whatnot, but apparently not. So I'm kind of that was a fun fact for me to find out. And this is what I mean about really enjoying doing these types of episodes, because I tend to learn a lot from, just researching and kind of looking up what to put in the episode. I tend to learn along as well, so it's kind of fun for me to do them. So that's all about her names. Which one do you know her by? If you've come across Tan Songyun, do you know her by Tan Songyun, or do you know her by Seven Tan? So, yeah, and actually, one of my fun facts later on, so English names tend to be for Chinese actors and actresses. They tend to be picked by the actor or actress or, idol themselves, in conjunction with the company, I would assume, but I would think a lot of the time it's their choice. And one of the fun facts that I have right at the end of the episode is that Tan Songyun's favorite number is 7. So I'm assuming that's why it's 7 Tan in, for her English name. But that's just me guessing. I didn't necessarily find anything that said that was the case, but that's just a fun guess on my part that she might have wanted that name because it's her favorite number. So yeah, that's all about her names. So her birth date is the 31st of May 1990, which makes her 32 currently as I'm recording this episode. Her star sign is a Gemini. Her birthplace is Luzhu Sichuan, yeah, I think that's how you say it. And her Chinese zodiac is horse. Her education was the Beijing Film Academy. Now, I've heard the Beijing Film Academy mentioned a couple of times, and from what I gather, it's quite a prestigious academy of sorts, and it seems to create a lot of, potential good actors and actresses. I'm gonna have to go back and check at some point, but I do think Avenue X mentioned it in one of her videos, and she said, I may be misremembering, so please correct me if I am, but I think she said that the Beijing Film Academy is quite well known for, bringing out or, not raising, is raising the right word? Educating quite good actors and actresses or, generations of them. So yeah, and her talent agency is called Xingyun Culture. So yeah, that's her overall info. And like I said, whenever I do these episodes, I don't really want to go into like their family or anything like that at all, because I just don't think that's, that's their privacy and whatnot. So I really literally do mean like just very, very general information about them, because I think as appreciators of their work, that's what we should be focusing on, and not necessarily all the other stuff, if that makes sense. So for her career overview, I had a little bit of a hard time trying to find out like how she got into acting, but I'm assuming it was just something she wanted to do very early on. So for her career overview, this is what I've got down. In 2001, she entered Sichuan Provincial Dance School to learn classical and folk dance. So she would have been 11 when she entered this. So that's really early. But I guess if you're a dancer, the earlier you start, the better, I believe. I'm not a dancer, so I wouldn't necessarily know. But I'm assuming that's the case here. And then in 2005, she gets involved in acting with the series Live a Good Life. I think she had like a very small part played in that. But even so, that would have mean she was 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she would have been 15 at the time that she got involved with this production. So that's really early on. So she is considered like a child child actress. So she started pretty early on. But I guess I think and this isn't necessarily true for everyone, but I feel like having a dance background can really help like a person on screen, because I think, so whenever I hear, dancers talking, or whenever I come across any videos that are from dancers, they kind of have to express their feelings with their whole body and like their faces whenever they perform. So I think that really does help an actress or an actor, because you have to convey the same message on screen. You have to become the character. And I feel like if you have like a dance background, it kind of helps you to, convey their emotion a little bit better. And actually, one of my favorite things about Tan Songyun is that she does convey emotion pretty well on screen. And she kind of like brings you into this character a lot of the time. So yeah, I do think, that background may help her out a little bit. So in 2007, she was admitted into the acting department of Beijing Film Academy. And then from there, 2012, she got a lot of attention for her role in the Qing Dynasty drama Legend of Concubine Zhen Huan. And I think that's like when she started getting more and more into dramas. So, yeah, like I said, I was trying to go through like a couple of websites and they kind of give you the same information, but I couldn't honestly find how she got into drama. But, assuming and looking at her trajectory, it feels like it must have been something that she might have wanted to do for a while, because she obviously started with dance, but then quickly made the move. I mean, within 4 years of entering the school dance, by the age of 15, she entered acting. So I'm assuming it was something that may have come across her mind. She was already kind of like in the entertainment industry, so to speak. So she kind of made the jump from dancing into acting. And then, so that's 2012. 2016, she wins Most Promising Actress at Aichi All-Star Carnival for her role in the drama With You. And then 2017, she wins Best Actress Award at the Asia New Film Media Film Award for the drama The Fox's Summer. And 2019, she made this is really impressive. This is one that I was like, I have to put this in because this is quite impressive. And basically, 2019, she made the Forbes China 30 Under 30 list, a list of people under 30 who have had a substantial effect in their field. And I'm like, that is incredible. But and then think about, so she's been acting since what? 2005 or so since she was 15. So she's achieved quite a lot in 15 years of career, so to speak, and to then be put on the Forbes China 30 Under 30 list, that must be quite impressive. So yeah, that is the career overview that I've got of her. I tried to look up, like I said, I used my drama list, I used Wikidrama and Wikipedia, and like this is the like information that I could find between the three of them. But there wasn't a lot in like, if how she went into acting or anything like that, which I would have loved to find out a bit more about. So I'm going to try and find some interviews or something where she speaks about that. But that's all I could find for the time being. So if you do follow Tan Songyun and you've got more information on, how she came into acting and anything like that, please let me know, because I'd love to find out a bit more. But yeah, that's all I've gathered in terms of like her career overview. Now, the next part of the episode would be like her filmography. There has been a lot. She's been in quite a lot. I was quite impressed. I was looking at her filmography and I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize she had been in so many dramas. And, like I said, little disclaimer here, I may miss some out, and I may just quickly discuss some of her variety or specials at the end, but it just depends how I'm doing for time. But yeah, her list is quite extensive, and actually, I was looking at it and I was a little bit sad because I haven't watched a lot from her list. Like with Bailu, when I did the Bailu episode, there was a lot less on her list, so I'd made it through quite a few dramas, but now I feel like I want to go back and, pick up a couple more dramas from Tan Songyun. So the first one that I have written down, now, the one that I mentioned above, which is from 2005, which is the drama Live a Good Life, that wasn't listed on my drama list, so I'm not sure what it is, or, what drama she played in, or, what capacity she, was on that drama. So I kind of left it out because on MDL, her filmography starts in 2012. So that's, when I kind of started on mine as well. So I went through my drama list for Tan Songyun and kind of like wrote down the dramas. So 2012, the drama that I've got down for her is called The City of Fog, and she played the character Song Mei Ching, and she was a support role in that one. I haven't watched that one. A lot of the earlier ones I haven't watched. There is a couple that are on my plan to watch list, but I will get to those in a minute. So next up, still in 2012, is the one that she actually won the award for, and is Legend of Concubine Zen, and she played Fang Chun-yi, and that again was a support role. In 2014, the drama was Happiness Please Wait for Me as He Do Do, and she played a support role as that again. And then in 2015, it seems to be, from what I could gather, her first main role, and that's the drama Mr. Gu's Love, and she played Gu Yan, the main role. 2016 is, I've missed one. 2015, another drama that came out for her was The Whirlwind Girl, and she played Fan Chiao Ying, and that was a support role. And then 2016 is a drama With You, and she played Gang Gang, the main role. This one is actually on my plan to watch list. I've heard a few good things about it, and I actually do want to check it out. It's kind of like a youth drama, and I tend to go through moods. Sometimes I feel like I just want to watch a bunch of youth dramas in a row, and sometimes I don't feel like watching very many at all. So yeah, that is on my plan to watch list. And then in 2016, she then also went back to The Whirlwind Girl 2 as, again, Fan Xiao Ying, and that was a support role. And then 2017, there was the drama called Face Off, and she played Chen Zhan, the main role. This one is also on my plan to watch list. It kind of looks interesting. So yeah, I do want to check this one out. This next one, this one has been on my list forever to watch this. And I kind of like started episode 1 a couple of times and then kind of like don't go back to it. So it's something that I do want to check out. And that is called The Fox's Summer. And that is season 1 and season 2. And she plays Lee Yan Shu, the main role. Now, the next drama is actually the very first drama that I met Tan Songyun in, and that is the drama My Mr. Mermaid, and she played the character Yoon Do. It's been a while since I watched it. This was actually one of my, probably within the first 10 Asian dramas that I ever watched. My Mr. Mermaid was part of that, first 10. I don't even remember how I stumbled across it because I don't think it was on Netflix. I don't remember where I even watched it. But basically, so the description for it. So what I think I'll do is for the episode, the dramas that I've watched, I'll kind of give you like a little description and why I enjoyed it. So for this one, so it's called My Mr. Mermaid, and it says the MGL description for it is a young swimmer tries to stage a comeback 3 years after a scandal. Tang Yi-bei is a former champion swimmer who was wrongfully accused of doping that derailed his competitive career 4 years ago. He returns after a 4-year hiatus to compete for the South Physical Education College, alongside his best friend Chi Ru Fang against their biggest rival, Hang Or Yang of North Physical Education College. At the competition, Yi Bai meets a rookie sports reporter, Yoon Do, who is assigned to cover the competition, but has a fear of water due to her near-drowning incident in her past. Yoon Do also happens to rent a room in Yi Bai's family home, and the two become good friends. Can Yoon Do encourage Yi Bai to prove his innocence in his past scandal and regain his swimming glory? So obviously this one stars Tan Songyun as Yoon Do, and it stars Chang Zi-chi as Tang Yi-bai, and a couple of other faces. It is 36 episodes of about 45 minutes each. So I absolutely loved this drama, and I still remember a couple of scenes from it. My memory on it is a little bit foggier. But what I do remember, it is one of the best, friends to lovers that I ever found. So the main couple doesn't really start as enemies or anything like that. They kind of go straight into kind of like this friendship of sorts. And yeah, there's a little bit like bickering, but it's not like, they hate each other. They kind of, they just are kind of like teasing each other of sorts. And there's this strong kind of friendship that they, get very easily, and they become friends. And I really, really love that they go from friends to then lovers. I loved their whole trajectory and how their relationship kind of developed. And it was just kind of like a sweet romance, but also it was kind of like this thing of something has kind of pushed you away from the path that you thought you would be on. And it's kind of like fighting back and trying to get to the place that you want to be at. So, the swimmer, he's obviously been wrongfully accused, and he wants to come back and gain, his, glory days, in the sense of he just wants to prove himself within the sport that he loves. And I believe that, I remember that story, and there was moments that I was cheering so badly for these, youths going for their dreams and whatnot. And I kind of love when a drama does that. So yeah, like I said, this was the very first Tan Songyun drama that I watched, and I absolutely fell in love with her and her character. And she's very charismatic. When she's on screen, you kind of gravitate towards her. So yeah, I really, really loved her in this one. I love this drama. I would recommend this. If you kind of like college dramas, I would definitely recommend this one. But if you just want something that's friends to lovers, that's what this drama is. It's just shrouded, in them. And I kind of like also that, yes, they, fall in love, but they don't stop each other from chasing their dreams. In fact, they encourage each other to push themselves harder within, for Tan Song-hyun's character within her reporting, and then for the male lead's character for his swimming career. They kind of encourage each other to, go for it and kind of push through and, just do what they have to do to achieve their dreams. So I really, really loved that because it was kind of like a respectful and, lovely relationship to watch. So yeah, I think that's the thing I remember the most about this drama is like how much I enjoyed them and that like their trajectory and, their mutual respect for each other. So yeah, that is the 2017 My Mr. Mermaid. Now, the next one is a pretty big one, and this is in 2019, and it's the drama Under the Power, and she played the character Yoonjin Shia, and that was the main role, and she stars in this one with Ren Jialan, and I like Ren Jialan, he's pretty good. His characters tend to be a little bit repetitive, but it is what it is. Like, I still enjoy his performance, so I'm quite happy with that. But this drama, guys, it's a historical one, and it's kind of like there's a whole mystery going on. And the male lead and the female lead, so Tan Songyun's character and Ren Jialan's character, they kind of like join up to try and figure out this mystery or this crime or solve this crime. The thing is, I think I've made it 6 episodes into this drama, and I cannot. It drags a little bit, and I think it's because it just doesn't necessarily grab my attention straight away. Now, this is an actor that I enjoy and an actress that I also enjoy, but for some reason this drama just did not click for me that well. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'll ever go back to it. If you've watched it, let me know what you guys think, because it's one of those that, I don't know, I think I would have to be in a very particular mood to kind of enjoy it. But yeah, I think I did try about 6 episodes. So that was Under the Power. And then in 2020, then I'm laughing because this has to be my favourite drama of Tan Songyun, and that is the drama Go Ahead that she stars in, and her character's name is Lee Jianjian, and oh my god, I love this drama so much. It's a found family drama, and basically it's like it's in my top. If I had to choose, it's really difficult for me to pick like top 5 dramas ever that like for Chinese dramas, just because I've watched quite a lot and I've enjoyed quite a lot of them. But if I had to absolutely choose like top 5 dramas, Go Ahead would without a shadow of a doubt be in my top 5, just because I loved it that much. So I'm just going to read you the MDL description, and it says, the story revolves around 3 troubled youths who find solace in their common experiences to become the best family that they can be for each other. Growing up in dysfunctional households, 3 individuals who are unrelated by blood treat each other like family as they yearn for love that they cannot find at home. Eldest brother Ling Xiao, second brother He Zichui, and younger sister Li Jianjian grow up together, experiencing life's joys and strife as they support each other's chosen paths. As Ling Xiao and He Zichui graduate from high school, they return to their original families. 9 years later, the 3 are reunited, but the heartaches from their complicated family past become a shadow that constantly lingers. Can they finally fix their personal issues to become better versions of themselves? Now, this drama is just so good. And I'll tell you what, this is one of my favourite, and this is just a little aside from Tan Songyun, but the screenwriter, there's 2 screenwriters for this, and one is called Wang Xiong Cheng, and the other one is called Xu, her name is hard to say. I'm going to try that again. Xu Qian Mo. And basically, these 2 have worked together in quite a few dramas. One that you might know, and that is the drama Meet Yourself from this year, from January 2023. And these 2 have worked together a couple of times in dramas, and whenever these two write stories, I absolutely love the way they write relationships and characters. Their dramas tend to be character focused, so it is about growth, it is about the journey of the character, and I absolutely loved that. Not only did I absolutely love Tan Songyun in this drama, so basically when you start the drama, you see three kids, and then the kids are played by, very young actors. And then when it comes to like school times, that's when Tan Songyun and Song Wei-long and Stephen Zhang come in as the three main characters that then, you follow until adulthood. And the way that they cast these three kids to play the younger versions of the, Tan Songyun, Song Wei-long and Stephen Zhang, they're so on point that you absolutely believe that these are like the kids, the younger versions. Because especially the young girl who plays Tan Songyun's character, basically her mannerisms and everything are so similar to Tan Songyun. Now, I don't know if, the younger girl came in and played the character first and kind of like Tan Songyun followed that. So the female actress who played the younger version of Li Jianjian is called Song Shang, and she did so good, so incredibly good. I cannot tell you guys enough how much I loved these three characters and like their journey. But it would be reminiscent for me to not mention that Li Jianjian's, so Tan Songyun's character, her father is like, he runs a little neighborhood noodle shop, and he is the epitome of what a father should be. He's loving and he's caring, and he shows his love to his daughter, and through food and through the way he treats her, and he'll sit down and he'll listen to her, and the way he treats her is the same way that he treats the other two boys, even though they're not blood related. And I just absolutely, he will forever be like, he's played mean characters and I've seen him and I cannot fathom, because to me, like, that actor is Noodle Dad. That's all I know him by. And I just absolutely loved this drama so much. And funnily enough, this is a drama that, like, I have gotten a couple of friends, when we first started the Discord, they, like, not a lot of them watch Chinese dramas. And I kind of like, I don't even know how we got into the conversation of Chinese dramas, but I kind of said, check out Go Ahead. And Go Ahead is not only is it the drama that I kind of mentioned to them, and then they went off and loved it and kind of like started watching a bunch more Chinese dramas after Go Ahead, but also it's very special to me because I met a friend of mine, her name's Delilah, over on Twitter because we were watching Go Ahead, and we kind of like intersected between tweets and kind of started talking, and if it hadn't been for that drama, maybe we wouldn't have met. So I feel like Go Ahead has brought me a lot of people, in the sense of, people that, online friends. And it's just a really, really special dramas. I think it is one of, if not my favourite found family drama. Now, be warned, this drama has horrible mothers left, right and centre. The mothers are just horrendous in this, but the father makes up for it because he's just so good. He's like the best drama dad that I've watched on screen, and I kind of just love watching these like three kids go from little kids to then, their teenage versions, and then finally their adult versions. So you kind of follow their trajectory throughout, three big stages in their life, and I just loved it. I cannot tell you guys enough how much I loved this drama. So yeah, that is, I won't go, I could literally be here talking about it all day. But I do actually, little spoiler, not for the drama, but, for the podcast, I do actually have a special episode planned for Go Ahead, and I think it'll come in the summertime, but it's going to be something special that I'm working on with a friend of mine. So look forward to that, but I highly recommend you watch this one. That is the 2020 drama Go Ahead, with Tan Songyun as Li Jianjian. So next up in 2020, she also had the drama Dear Mayang Street, and she played Ma Xiao Xiao, the main role in that. So I did watch this one fully. I did really enjoy it as well. Not quite as much. I think Go Ahead is still my favorite drama of hers that I've watched. But it was an enjoyable drama. I would compare, this is similar to something like Reply 1988. It is based in like a alley, and like everybody kind of helps each other in the alley. Families kind of help each other, and it's more focused on the kids and their journey from like, high school and then like into adulthood. So it's that type of drama, like neighborhood drama, so to speak. I did, again, really enjoy it. Thought it was, pretty good drama. I don't remember what I rated it. If you're wondering, I rated Go Ahead 10 out of 10. Now, is it completely problem-free? No, it isn't. Did I love the heck out of it? I absolutely did. I was chasing episodes every single week. So, yeah, I could not rate it any other. I think you'll find that, like, all of my 10 out of 10 ratings tend to be dramas that know they aren't perfect, but they're perfect to me, if that makes sense. So, yeah, so I scored a 7.5 for Dear Mayang Street, and I think it is, if I'm remembering correctly, it was just something that was a little bit too long for what it needed to be. I think they dragged out the drama a little bit too much. So yeah, that's the only reason I scored that one a little bit lower. So next up is the drama. It's called The Eight, and she stars as Shi Shui. I have not watched this one. It seems like it is a period drama. So, yeah, I haven't watched it. It's kind of like a crime thriller of sorts. It is pretty long, 34 episodes of 45 minutes. But, yeah, I have not watched it. So, yeah, this one's available on iQIYI. So if you have watched it, let me know what you've thought. Next up is, so this one is slightly shorter. It's only 8 episodes, and it is because it's called New Generation. And this particular one is called New Generation because I Have a Home, and she plays Huang Si-chi. And basically, this is part of like a bigger, so the title of the drama is New Generation, and it is 48 episodes long, but they're divided into like 8 or 10 episode sections, and every section has like a different female and male lead, and it's a different story. So it's kind of like a big drama montage of sorts, like, I'm not really sure what the word to use, but basically the umbrella it comes under is New Generation, which is 48 episodes, but that's like broken up into smaller, mini series, if that makes sense. And it's like focused on basically focused on real life stories. So this one, New Generation, because I Have a Home, it's like this, the male lead is played by Bai Jingting, and he basically is like an internet sensation of sorts, and he has a little problem. So he has to come back from the big city back into his like small town. And Tan Songyun plays the character Huang Si-chi, and she's like trying to help out the village, and like basically what they do is they bicker constantly, this couple does, and it's hilarious to see. But basically they kind of like join hands to kind of put the villages selling online so that they could, revive their economy of the town. And I believe this is based on a real life story. Like I said, only 8 episodes. It's available on YouTube, and I really, really enjoyed it. It wasn't by any sorts like big or grand, because they did only have 8 episodes, but I still really, really enjoyed it. So that is New Generation, and the particular part for this one is it's called Because I Have a Home, and I believe it's between episodes 33 and 39 that this story is based on. So, yeah, next up is 2021, and it is the drama called The Sword and the Brocade. Now, I have mentioned this one quite a few times. I loved this drama. This drama is kind of like, it's a slow burn, and, it's like I said, a very slow burn. I've mentioned it a couple of times. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it in which episode I've mentioned it. I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty pretty sure I have sort of mentioned it a couple of times. But yeah, so basically she plays this character who is born from a concubine, and like her marriage is kind of like arranged and everything, and everybody kind of looks down on her because she's a concubine's daughter. But she basically is very smart, and she kind of like figures how to make her life, you know, work and whatnot. And she forms this partnership with the male lead, who's her husband. So they marry very, very early on. And it's kind of like very much this drama of, you know, going from an arranged marriage to developing feelings later on. And it's a very, very, very slow burn, very slow burn. I think I lowered the score on this one because I loved Tan Songyun's character. I loved her arc. I loved her story. But and the male lead was fine, but my problem was that the male lead's storyline wasn't as interesting. So whenever he was pulled away into his own like independent storyline, which was like he was trying to solve this maritime ban that was made by the emperor or whatever it was, basically it wasn't as interesting as the drama as a whole. So yeah, that would be something I, you know, would keep in mind. But I do think this is kind of like a nice introduction into like Chinese historical dramas, just because it's pretty simple and it's not based on like court politics per se. The male lead storyline is, but it's more based on like in-house politics, so like how to deal with the concubines and the harem and stuff like that, and you know, just in-house politics, so to speak. And I just absolutely loved it. I really, really did. The female lead's character, by, you know, Tan Songyun's character, I didn't necessarily like the male lead storyline, and just because I just found it a little bit boring more than anything else. But apart from that, I would still, you know, pretty much recommend this one because I really did enjoy it. So next one, we're going into 2022, and she has two dramas in 2022. One is called Flight to You, and she plays Cheng Xiao in the main role. I checked up a couple of episodes on this one. I was like, I really, really cannot stand the male lead's character. Now, I have heard that in later episodes, he does change, and, you know, he goes through a bit of a, you know, growth. But this drama is long. I think it's like 36 episodes or something like that. And I was like, I don't know how long it's going to take for this male lead to decide to, you know, grow enough for me to like enjoy his character. So I actually dropped this one, and it came at a time that I was so busy with like other dramas that I was like, I don't want to. So if you have watched Flight to You and you have enjoyed it, let me know, do I need to go back to it? Because I have heard quite a lot of people say that they have kind of enjoyed it, but I don't know, because like the male lead just really wasn't working for me in this drama, so I'm just not sure. And then the other one was Master of My Own, and she played Ning Meng, and the main role, again, no problem with her character. It was the male lead. So the male lead, I had seen him previously, and I believe it was either in My Bargain Queen or I can't quite remember. But basically, his character was copy and paste from the other drama that I had seen, you know, a couple of weeks earlier. And I really didn't like his character there, and I really didn't like his character here either. So I did check out a couple of episodes, but then I was like, I can't with this male lead. So I very quickly was like, I'm letting it go. I'm not enjoying it, so I need to, you know, move on to something else. So I did drop those two. But going through it, so I haven't actually watched that many. Well, I've watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've watched 6 completed dramas from, Tan Songyun that she stars in. And then I kind of like tried a couple and kind of dropped them. So yeah, but the last one on the list is the 2023 drama, and this is the drama that kind of inspired this episode, and it is called Road Home, and she plays the character Gu Xiao. And oh my god, guys, I love this drama so much. It's very quiet. There's not a lot of like plot to speak. So basically the very basic plot is that there was a girl and a boy. You know, what else can you call it? Basically, so Tan Songyun's character and the male lead for this is Jing Boran, and basically they met in school. And they kind of fell in love and had a relationship. But the male lead's family is really, really complicated. And the female lead's family is kind of like a little bit more upper class in society. So they basically... The male lead had a couple of problems and he decided to enlist in police academy, and he grew up and then he went to be a SWAT police officer specializing in like bombs and stuff. So his job is pretty dangerous in general, but basically they were doing a long distance relationship and through machinations it just didn't work out. And the story goes and it moves 10 years into the future. Now you spend very, very little time exploring like what happened in the past to them. They kind of like throw you flashbacks throughout the episodes. I have currently watched 13 episodes because that's all that's out at the time of recording this episode. But so basically they kind of like throw you little flashbacks of, you know, what happened in the past between their story. But then you move 10 years into the future and, you know, our female lead, Gu Xiao, she's like established in her career. And our male lead, he's also very much established in their career. And through like, they kind of meet up again. And it's very clear to see that there is a lot of love there. And that neither of them have actually ever had another relationship. So clearly they are kind of like, you know, love of their lives kind of thing. It was first love and it was really, really impactful. So they kind of, you know, stayed, you know, single, and they kind of meet again 10 years later and rekindle their love story, and that's basically the drama. So I think it's like 36 episodes long. I believe, is it 36? I'm just gonna go and double check, but I'm absolutely loving it. It's one of the dramas that I go home and I run to. I absolutely run to. Now, is it a drama that everybody's gonna enjoy? Probably not. Like I said, it is a very quiet drama. It's about the relationship. It's about like how you can try a relationship again, but you have to recognize the problems that led to the breakup in the first place and kind of amend them. And it's what's happening. Like you're kind of seeing how they grew apart in terms of how they grew as people individually, and how those being more adult and being more mature has kind of helped them come back into this relationship with a better perspective and a better chance of the relationship to work out. So yeah, that's the drama. Now, the reason why I was really, really excited about this is because this is the same writer that did One and Only and Forever and Ever, and she also did Go Go Squid and a couple of other dramas. And if you know me by any point, by listening to my episodes, you know One and Only and Forever and Ever are like two of my all-time favorite dramas put together, because I just think they're the same. You know, they go hand in hand. So I was pretty excited to see that. And I know this screenwriter does write, love stories really well. So, at least to my liking anyways. So I feel like we could be in good hands in terms of that. So yeah, I'm loving this drama. And a lot of it is set in this like remote, they call it Chinning. I don't think that's the name of the actual city, but it is like a remote, part of China. And it's all like mountainous and very heavy snow, and everything's covered in snow. And there's this beautiful shot of them, and the sun is rising, and they're just sitting there cuddling and looking at the sunrise over the snowy mountains and the snowy forest, and it is stunning, absolutely stunning. So yeah, I'm very much in love with this drama right now, and I'm hoping it goes well, because like I said, I've only watched 13 episodes, so anything could happen because we're quite a bit off from it finishing. So yeah, hopefully it'll keep being good, I'm hoping, because it's 30 episodes, so I'm not even quite halfway. I will be, because when I finish recording this episode, that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down, turn on my TV, and watch the new episodes for Road Home. So yeah, that's how excited I am about this drama. So yeah, that is her filmography. That's her most current role that I'm currently watching, and that is the most current one on MDL. I think that's it. Now, she also has a ton of variety. I've kind of seen her and Ren Jialan doing, what was it? It's one where they kind of like go into this camping thing, and it was to promote, I believe it was to promote Under the Power. But yeah, so she's done a ton of variety. She's done, specials. But if I were to go through all of that, I would literally be here all day. She has a very extensive, filmography and variety shows and all of that, for being she's been in the business about 15 years, I would say, from what I could gather from her career information that I could gather. So yeah, that's everything there. And I thought I would just do a little fun facts just to end the episode. Fun facts about Tan Songyun. And basically, she has her own studio. Now, I came across this statement and I cannot find, what is it? Is it like her own acting studio, or is it, her recording studio? I kind of want to know. So if there's any Tan Songyun fans out there that know what it means, because I tried to Google it, I tried to find it, and I was like, I could not find it. Literally all I could find, and it came under the facts for Tan Songyun, is all it said is she has her own studio, and I cannot figure out what it is. So I'm hoping that somebody out there listening can please let me know and, kill my curiosity, because I would love to know. And then she likes to sing, which makes me think by she has her own studio, they mean like recording studio, which actually makes a little bit sense, because I found out something quite interesting. So she actually uses her voice for a lot of her dramas. She doesn't get dubbed very often. I believe Under the Power she was dubbed, but she doesn't often get dubbed in her dramas, which I find quite good, because I've kind of come to learn her voice. So yeah, so basically I came across this, and it's a Twitter thread, and it's by Int Royals, and basically it says the original voice not dubbed ratio, and Tan Songyun comes in at 93.8%, which means 93.8% of the time it's her own voice and not dubbed. And I do think the ones that I've watched, she's not been dubbed. She's dubbed herself. But I do know Under the Power, she was dubbed. And it really, and actually just, talking about it, it kind of reminds me, that was something that threw me off, because when I tried Under the Power, I had already watched a good few episodes of, dramas of hers. And I had watched a lot of basically like interviews and behind the scenes with her in it. So I kind of really knew what her voice sounded like, and it was throwing me off to no end that her voice was not matching like my idea of her voice, because obviously she was being dubbed, it wasn't her voice. So the first time that I tried Under the Power, I kind of had to shelve it and be like, I can't right now. And then I kind of almost had to leave it for a while to, try and forget her voice in a sense. So yeah, that was really interesting actually. I quite like the fact that she uses her own voice a lot of the time. So yeah, that's quite good. So basically her favorite number is 7, which I kind of mentioned, in the earlier part of the episode. Her favorite food is hot pot, Me too. I absolutely love hot pot. I got to go to London last year with my partner, and I got to try like a proper hot pot for the first time. And by proper, I mean like, you know, as good as you can get it in the UK, I suppose, without going to China. And I loved it. I was absolutely in love with it. So my partner prefers like Korean barbecue, and I prefer the Chinese hot pot. So yeah, it's kind of fun. He actually gifted me this like electrical hot pot. So it's a hot pot in the middle divided into two, and then it has like a barbecue around it, so we could actually have both, you know, both to our tastes. I will have the hot pot and he can have the barbecue, so we can do both at the same time. I'm going off on a tangent, but yeah, I absolutely adore hot pot. And then, just for the last little fun fact, she owns a border collie named Liao Liao. I love border collies. I just think they're adorable. So yeah, that's her pet, border collie. And that is it. That is all the facts I have gathered on Tan Songyun. I had a blast doing this episode. Like I said, I really enjoy doing these kind of episodes because I get to learn so much about the actress and, you know, or actor. I will eventually get on to my favorite actors, but yeah, I feel like I did not realize that her filmography was so extensive. Also, like her name and all of that. I love learning those little facts about actors and actresses. So yeah, have you enjoyed this episode? I hope you have. If you do, please rate and subscribe. You know, that helps the podcast and others, you know, find the podcast, which is always great. I love growing this little community. I love it when you guys like get in touch with me because I just enjoy talking dramas. So, you know, I've gotten some really lovely messages over the last couple of weeks, and I kid you not, whenever I get like a new Instagram message or, you know, Twitter message or email, I get so excited because I'm like, oh, you know, a new person to talk dramas with. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please rate and subscribe. If you're interested in more content, just go and check out Patreon. I post, you know, reviews over there, movie reviews, and, you know, things that don't quite make it onto the main podcast because they're slightly shorter. So I do like 20-minute bite-sized episodes. So yeah, I am trying to become a little bit more regular on updating there. So yeah, that is everything. I will link everything linked. I will leave everything linked in description notes, including my Instagram account and all of that. But also, do remember, if you want to check out any of the information, I will leave the episode notes linked in the episode description, so you can check that out. Or if you can't access it that way, just check out the blog. That's always also linked, or, you know, in Instagram Linktree or anything like that. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I hope you're having a good time, or at least, you know, life is treating you well in your corner of the world with a bit more sunshine, hopefully, now that we're going into spring. And yeah, I shall see you next time. Bye. This has been another episode of the Tea and Soju Asian Drama Podcast. I'm your host, Liliana, and you can come and chat to me on Instagram, Tea and Soju Pod, all one word, and on Twitter, tea_soju_pod. You can also email me at teandsojupodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to support this podcast, please consider joining Patreon for extra content. Lastly, if you enjoy this podcast, please help by rating and reviewing wherever you listen to help others find this drama corner. I'll leave everything linked in the description notes. See you next time for more Asian drama chatter.